Hey everyone! Hope you're having an amazing day. It's Code Karen. Welcome to Reddit Stories, where we have 2 incredible stories with comments. If you're new to this channel, a sub would be great. Tap that notification bell. Let's jump right in. My husband sees no problem telling his ex-wife, "I love you." But I do. My husband and I got married last year after dating for a very short time. When I met him, I was not looking for a serious relationship. I had been single for a few years following the death of my husband in a tragic car accident, and then after an abusive, cheating ex-fiancé. After much needed therapy, I was actually enjoying life again. I wasn't looking for love. In fact, I was doing a good job of avoiding it. LOL. When I first met my now husband, I was simply looking for a fling. We clicked and had such a strong connection from the moment we laid eyes on each other. The first few months of our relationship were a mix of magic and apprehension. I didn't want to get hurt again or lose anyone again. I was scared, but he eased my worries time and time again. He was patient and understanding, so much so that I fell deeply in love. I was able to accept all the things about him that normally would have been deal breakers for me. For instance, he is older, divorced, and has 2 children. I never wanted to be the new wife or the stepmom, but that didn't matter to me anymore. I wanted to be with him. Nothing else mattered, and we got married a few months ago. I knew that my husband had a good relationship with his ex-wife and spoke to her frequently about decisions that involved the children and stuff. But this is when things changed for me. I walked into the kitchen and heard my stepdaughter, who was 12, say to my husband, "Yeah, you and mom speak German to each other over the phone, so her boyfriend doesn't get jealous when you say I love you." I looked at my husband, and immediately he looked sheepish and went silent after that. I didn't want to make a scene in front of his daughter, so later that night I asked him, what was that all about? He told me he and his ex-wife say "I love you" in German if her boyfriend is around, so he doesn't hear and get upset. I told him, what about me not hearing and becoming upset? Doesn't that matter? I told him that this was disrespectful to me, and he seemed shocked. I assumed that the exchanges of "I love yous" stopped when we got married. I was wrong. Apparently, the whole time I've been with this man, he's been telling his ex-wife he loves her every day. Call me crazy, but it doesn't seem right to me. I'm not a jealous person, but ever since finding this out, I'm afraid I've started to be. I know it stems from being cheated on by other men in the past. My husband sees absolutely nothing wrong with telling his ex-wife that he loves her. He thinks I'm being childish because, quote, there isn't enough love in the world. He gets super defensive and shuts the conversation down whenever I bring it up. It's been a month since I found out. I can't stop thinking about it, and he refuses to even try to understand where I'm coming from. I used to look back on the beginning of our relationship as the best moments of my life, and now it only pushes me into a deeper, darker emotional hole. If I would have known about this sooner, I might have not married him. Is this a normal jealousy thing? Am I just out of touch and childish? Any insight is greatly appreciated. Let's head to the comments. Etakno says, "Sorry, but you don't say 'I love you' to an ex every day. The fact that they're saying it in German so her boyfriend won't understand is sketchy. Why are they hiding it if they think it's normal? You have to put your foot down. If he still doesn't understand how you're feeling, sorry, but you need to demand some answers. And some respect." Mr. Deco97 says, "I can't believe people in the comments are justifying this. It's clearly disrespectful. Obviously, 2 people who were once married and share a child together still hold some love for each other. That's really nice. But you don't continue to say 'I love you' to someone else other than the one you were dating, or, in your case, the one you've married. Professing your love for someone other than your wife as a casual goodbye or whatever is completely sketchy. Wild MTN Child says, I have a different perspective from others. My ex and I occasionally tell each other we love each other, especially if one of us is having a hard time. If we wanted to be together, we would be. We broke up years ago for very good reasons, and now he's one of my best friends, and I love him, platonically. I know that if he had a girlfriend who considered that a deal breaker, he wouldn't tolerate it. But we don't hide our expression of love for one another. I know he would be willing to discuss it with his girlfriend as I would be willing to discuss it with my boyfriend. We're all adults. At least I am. The inability to further the discussion is the real problem, not the fact that he could and does love the mother of his children. Our next story is from r/askwomenadvice. Am I the idiot for refusing to take care of my brother if anything happens to my mom? Hey Reddit crew, this issue has been bothering me a lot, and I am wondering if I'm in the wrong. I am 25, currently getting my doctorate to be a history professor. I have an older brother who is 27 and is low-functioning autistic. I love him very much, but he has trouble communicating and will never live on his own. He pretty much doesn't leave the house. My father passed away 2 years ago, and my mother is getting older. When I visited home a few weeks ago, my mother was very concerned about what will happen to my brother. For all my life, they expected me to take care of him. This may sound cruel, but frankly, I would resent taking care of him. There are many things I want to do in my life, like getting married, having kids, and traveling extensively. This would never be possible if I had to look after him. My mom has created a life for herself, where all her time is spent caring for him. I had no other choice but be very blunt and honest with my mom and told her, flat out, that she would have to find someone else to care for my brother. It's not going to be me. She was shocked and told me she is very disappointed in me. Since then, she has tried guilting me and even threatened to cut me out of her will if I don't take care of him. I haven't wavered in my decision, but I am wondering, am I an awful person for not wanting to take care of my brother? Let's head to the comments. Black Whale says, everyone stinks here. Please do not accept full custody for him. I can say this because I am a very high-functioning person on the autistic spectrum. But I remember my sisters had no choice but to take care of me for a while, and they resented me and my disability. It was the most terrible time of my life. Due to a lot of therapy and guidance, I have more control over my life, and I'm self-sufficient now. Your mom should have been considering care options this entire time, not waiting until she is older and widowed. It's terrible that she didn't. And I am disappointed in you that you knew your parents' expectations and you put off having a very frank conversation with them, especially when your dad was alive. You and your mom need to come together and look into care facilities that can take him. If that means taking some of your inheritance to help with costs, then so be it. LW says, I might have a differing opinion here. I have a sister who has Down syndrome and is dependent on my parents. She does her daily living quite independently, but she can never be left all alone. I've always knew I might be the one in my family to take care of her when the time comes. I can't stand the thought of her being alone and with strangers. I've talked about this with my husband, and he understands and supports my decision. I don't blame you for not wanting to take responsibility because you lead a very independent life. However, it wasn't your brother's fault that he was born autistic and would need constant care and support from family. I always think to myself, if I was in my sister's situation, I'd like to have someone from my family take care of me as well. Same goes for when I get older and need more assistance. But hey, to each his own. We can't force people to be caregivers. I think it all boils down to the family support network. If no one steps up, then the parent has to look into other care options and not judge or punish the siblings. Planet's Midnight says, "You are definitely not the idiot for wanting control over your own life with your own goals, plans, and dreams. You aren't selfish for wanting that for yourself." To offer another perspective for your mom, though, this is every parent's greatest fear if they have a child with special needs. Who will take care of their child when they die? Who will love them enough to deal with the challenges and take proper care of the child? How will that child cope with a major loss and transition? Your mom is facing a heartbreaking reality and sees you as the one person that could likely replace her. Your mom needs to accept that this is the reality of parenting a child with special needs. She's been taking care of this child his whole life and is very protective of him. You have every right to be upset and to hold your ground and say no. But consider that your mom is not unreasonable to ask you to step in for her. She's facing her own mortality, and it's even more scary for her to know that the future care of her son with special needs is so uncertain. Hey Code Karen community, what would you do in this situation? I'd love to hear your comments. See you in the next story.